You're listening to episode 2 of the Women's Fitness Podcast with Kelly Bakewell PT and Iszi Lawrence. The information in this podcast should not be taken instead of medical advice. We are not doctors, just passionate about fitness, progress and feeling good. You can find out more about us at womensfitnesspodcast.com. But for now, time for some real talk about the mess, stress and silliness that will get you achieving your goals. I've started recording now, and I'm going to have a slug of thing.
A slug of ting.
Oh, the brownness. Right.
What is it?
It's just Diet Coke.
Oh, Diet Coke's disgusting.
Oh, I love Diet
Coke
Coke.
Zero's better.
Coke Zero tastes like Coke that you've left ice in and it's gone flat.
Like Diet Coke tastes like Coke that someone's gone, what can we make the fakest sweetness we can? And just put that in it.
But I like that.
Nah.
I'm just like all about the aspartame. Team.
It's actually not that bad. Like, it got a really bad rap, but it's actually not that bad. They've put out new research now and gone, oh, sorry guys, freaked out a little bit. It's alright, actually.
Well, I read things about, does it spike your insulin or not?
Most things spike your insulin.
Most things do. But it is that thing, if your insulin goes up and you've drank something that hasn't got any sugar in it, that's going to make you crave sugar.
Yeah.
Or it just makes you crave Diet Coke and then the caffeine makes you zingy. And then you're ready to record a podcast.
I don't get a high from caffeine anymore because I just drink far too much coffee.
Well, exactly. This is, I often see people just go, I'm just going to give up on caffeine, and you're just like,
How though?
How do you do that?
I did it for like 3 weeks, and the first week I had headaches and I was really depressed. It's just like, oh. And then as soon as I got back onto it, I only needed one coffee. And that got me going again. But now I can drink like about 4 Red Bulls and still not feel it.
We should introduce ourselves, because otherwise this is just going to be like, who are these women talking? I am Iszi Lawrence, hello. And opposite me is Kelly Bakewell, PT.
Hi.
I'm always going to include the PT in your name.
Just in case.
Well, it's also good for the hashtagging and the atting and the social media.
I should really stop chewing this chewing gum, shouldn't I?
You probably should. Let's start the podcast. Do you want a bit of paper?
Yeah.
Oh, look at teamwork.
Yes.
There we go. An old envelope which had money in it at one point.
Once upon a time.
It's good. It's good, my job, because I do comedy and stuff. So I just get handed envelopes like I'm Jeffrey Archer from the 90s. What have you been up to this week? And what's going on in the world of Kelly Bakewell?
Sure, that's like my least favourite question ever, because I can never ever remember what I've done. What have I done?
Training?
Things. I've done training. So I've seen quite a lot of clients this week. Basically, my favourite's when they pull like their sad faces.
Okay.
The working out faces we said about before.
Yeah.
I've got one girl who just swears constantly. It's amazing. It really makes me laugh.
Excellent.
I think Sunday was my first day off in like 2 weeks.
Wow.
My mum went, I hope you're doing something nice. I went, yeah, sleeping. Yeah, mainly sleeping. So.
I went to Origin class, which is a HIIT class.
Oh, I did it, didn't I, on Saturday?
Oh, yes, you did. I did you took me in a class, and there weren't that many people there, so it was really quite focused and
pretty intense.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, today I did Sean's class, which was very cardio.
Ugh.
Very cardio. I finished on 1 minute of burpee, sprint, burpee, sprint, burpee, sprint, burpee, sprint for a minute.
Joys.
Yay! So I might fall asleep, but I won't, because I've got questions for you. People have been in touch. Woo! They want to know things. This is very exciting, guys.
Hi, people.
If you want to get in touch, please email. What is our email address? It's womensfitnesspodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at @WomFitPod or #WomFitPod on Instagram.
Warm.
Yeah, WOM.
It's a great noise.
It's a good noise. It's like a really, really slow lightsaber.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
WOM Fit Pod. We are warming. Warm. Anyway, so get in touch, because we have got questions, and so I will now ask you them.
Okay, good.
Okay, once I find them on my phone. So, Lucy asks, when you're dieting, what is the best way to curb cravings? And she is in a position where she just thinks of a food and desperately wants it, and then she normally ends up eating it and ruining her diet. So what is it about food cravings and dieting? What are your tips?
Don't diet.
Don't diet?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
I know that sounds quite dramatic, but if you, like, say that you definitely can't have something, that is all you're going to think about.
That's true.
So, any diet should be something that you're happy about and it's sustainable and you don't feel like you're missing out. So, we'll talk about this in another podcast, but it's about reverse dieting, getting yourself up to a decent amount of calories. So when you diet down, it's not so dramatic. So I can diet at 1,800 calories, which is way more than most people think they could.
I can diet at 2,300 by accident. But I am massively tall.
Exactly.
And,
so
yeah.
Don't deny yourself anything. Make sure, like, I have to have a cake or chocolate a day. So I just put that in first into my FitnessPal, and then I work my whole day around it. And I go, fine, I'll have chicken salad for lunch, that's fine.
Yeah.
Chocolate. Because I know that if I don't have it, I'll go mad and eat all of it.
So you recommend using calorie counters like MyFitnessPal?
Yeah, because most people as well, I got my other half to start using it, and he was really shocked about how many calories are in certain things. And especially if you're doing things like, if you're drinking alcohol on a weekend, which you totally can, don't think you can't, you do have to count that as, it comes up as the calories, but you have to take it from one of your macros, so your carbs, fats, proteins. I would recommend taking it off your carbs, but you have to factor that out.
So long chain hydrocarbon, a bit like sugar anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you put everything in there, and you'll be surprised. Like a lot of people, if you watch those what's that program on the telly box?
Well, there's lots of them. So
yeah, you know the one where the Secret Eaters.
See, I've seen
where they
Secret
go,
Eaters.
I don't eat anything, and then they just see them picking all day.
There was that one where the dude was just like, I don't eat anything, and then his breakfast, because he was used to being a cyclist in his youth, and his breakfast was over 2,000 calories.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, because he just thought, but you know, this yogurt and this cream is healthy and this cereal is healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is healthy because it's really nutrient dense. However, because it's nutrient dense, you don't need that much of it.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be surprised how all the little picky bits add together. And to, like, the end of the day, you can be well over your calories and go, well, I only eat like 1,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
It's actually more like 3,000.
Yeah.
So if you can, definitely factor it in.
It is really easy to overeat.
Yeah.
It's also, if you're like me, very easy to undereat.
Massively.
Because particularly if you're thinking, oh, I need a lot of veg, you eat a lot of veg, and actually...
It's not a lot of calories.
No.
That's a whole podcast on itself as well, is why people can't lose things like belly fat, that sort of thing. They're not eating enough. Your body will keep onto it. So we'll definitely cover that over as well.
Cool.
But...
Cravings in particular, though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you don't tend to crave, like, a massive bag of carrots. So you need to kind of look behind what your craving means.
A lot of rabbit listeners.
Yeah,
You don't know
well,
that.
if you're a rabbit,
got gym bunnies.
And you crave carrots, good for you. But generally, it's kind of more, have a look behind what your craving means. So, are you eating because you're bored? That's really easy to do.
That's often me.
Yeah, exactly.
Often me. Also, if you're thirsty.
Yeah, that
I
get
crave
those two
ice
things
cream.
mixed up.
Yeah, ice cream in particular. Anything that's slightly cold. It's because I'm thirsty. Pink wafers. Just do you know those like pink
The little
wafers?
kiddie ones?
Yeah, those right. Because they're kind of cold on your tongue, and they
kind of fizz a bit, don't they?
yeah, they're sort of there's something quite. I was going to say watery about them, but it cools your mouth
That really
down.
dry, watery wafer.
Yeah, you know that really dry wafer, but it does make me feel, I know when I'm feeling thirsty, and I can now tell the difference, and I just go, like, if I wanted to lose weight, I know exactly what I would do. I would have a big glass of water and wait 5 minutes and see if that helped.
Yeah, exactly. So it is it's most likely to be boredom, emotional eating. So if you're down, you'll have probably associated it with, like, when you were little and you used to get a McDonald's if you were for a treat. So you kind of associate food with treats and feeling good. So it can be emotional based. It can also be based on things like, I mean, it gives you a mini high if you're eating things like chocolate. Mini high.
Because it's got serotonin in it or something.
Yeah,
No, it's not in it.
It kind of gives you like an opioid sort of mini high when you eat something, because it's a satisfaction of that and the ingredients in it, because obviously they're designed to make you eat more, and the sugars, all that sort of business. So it could be emotional. Like the weirdest thing is kind of the different hormones that you've got. I never remember how to say it. It's called ghrelin.
Oh, ghrelin.
Good old ghrelin.
I always think of that like a little angry goblin that lives deep inside you.
That's basically exactly what it is.
Okay.
It makes you hungry. So it increases your appetite.
Ghrelin
for really good reason. And then you've got leptin, which decreases your appetite.
Which is a lovely little fluffy, rabbity kind of... I've
lovely
got rabbits on the brain at the moment.
But that guy kind of decreases your appetite. But what kind of modern day, what we've done is we've learned to suppress those two, and we've learned to mix them up, and we've learned to get them really confused, because ghrelin will kick in if it thinks you're underweight. So it kicks in to increase your appetite to make you eat more.
But that's when it thinks you're underweight, not actually when you are underweight.
Yeah, I mean, your body, if you let your body kind of get to homeostasis, which is its natural happy self and its happy state, then it will balance itself out really well. So you'll get the right levels of kind of leptin to decrease and ghrelin to increase, and to keep you at that steady level. But because we're eating when we're bored or eating when we're stressed, we're not eating when we're hungry. So those kind of hormones just disappear, because they're kind of produced in the pancreas and the stomach, respectively. And that means it's not your brain. So your brain goes, I want food. And your hormones are going, you don't need food. You're like, yeah, but I want food. That is basically what happens.
So you're fighting something that's completely illogical. So, I mean, I suppose if it's emotional eating, the best thing to do is either find out other activities that make you happy.
Yeah, like a hobby.
Yeah.
And that would work with boredom as well.
Yeah, that's true. So go to the gym. No, but there are.
Yeah, go to the gym.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because that increases leptin. So that increases your.
I find that, because I find like if I go and if I do a little bit of cardio or something like that, I know you don't have to cut it, but if I do some exercise, like I might go to jiu-jitsu, and the thing is with jiu-jitsu, because you're getting thrown about a lot, you don't want to eat a lot beforehand because you don't want to make a mess of the mats. The key is vomit down your own gi. Is what you're meant to do if you feel sick. However, to avoid that, you don't eat for a little bit beforehand, because otherwise you might be sick. So occasionally I turn up to jiu-jitsu really hungry, but then afterwards I've got no hunger at all.
Yeah, that would be it.
Yeah.
I once had Diet Coke come out of my nose in the middle of a judo fight. I just used her sleeve to wipe it up. She was going to hold down. That was a joy. So sorry if you're listening.
That's amazing. That's a good hold when you can get somebody to vomit out their nose.
Yeah, Diet Coke right out of the nose. There is a really, really random little tip that you can do if you do feel hungry. Is go and clean your teeth.
Oh.
So you clean your teeth, bit of mouthwash. Obviously foods, especially oranges, taste disgusting after you've cleaned your teeth. It can get rid of that. It makes you think about your hunger. So you're like, am I really hungry? And then if you still want to eat after you've cleaned your teeth, you probably are hungry.
But it's probably, if you are genuinely hungry, it's probably a good idea to eat something that isn't ideally chocolate or crisps.
But that's where you would have to identify that you are actually hungry. That's the difficult bit.
Yeah.
As we've just bamboozled it all. And that's the thing, don't go too low on your calories, because you will be permanently hungry, and there's something wrong with that.
I think a lot of people I know who try and go on diets, they go really extreme. So like, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories a day.
Oh.
I know. They do that, and then they do really well for a few days, and then of course they can't keep it up, because it's a really difficult, unless you're tiny, it's a really difficult level to maintain, and then they just binge like crazy at the weekend or something.
Yeah, that's my main problem with MyFitnessPal, because it defaults everyone's calories to like 1,200. And you're like,
really?
Yeah, if you put in like your goals and stuff, it goes 1,200. Like, no, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Your goals are, because for me it doesn't. For me it's sort of, I don't know what my default goals are actually. So because I always am trying to increase my weight.
I always do my own.
Yeah, but it's being 6 foot, they never say 1,200 is never a thing. My BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, so that's the amount of calories I burn doing all is 1,500.
Sleeping, breathing, yeah. And then you've got your TDEE, so your total daily energy expenditure,
which is just so hard to calculate.
It gets very, very exciting after that. But the thing with like MyFitnessPal as well is it same with all calorie calculators. They will ask you to put in what you think your activity level is.
Who knows?
Everyone puts moderately active or active, and most people are not. Most people will be sedentary. Unless you're actually working out, you're probably sedentary. Even though that sounds like you don't do a lot, that is basically what you would be. Like even a super, super active person would be like an athlete would be classed as very active. So if you're putting yourself as active, you've got to think, am I one step behind like an athlete? Probably not. So it's good to have a look. And these calorie counters, they are basically just a guess. They're a guesstimate. So you have to work at those calories for about a week and have a look and see how it's affecting your body, and then put it up or down based on that. So you're kind of always working to find out what your like total daily energy expenditure is.
Yeah, and it's really, you have to as well, if you're working that out by how much you're losing in terms of weight, it's very important that you weigh yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like for me, my weight fluctuates about 5 pounds to 6 pounds in a day.
Mine's about a kilogram.
Don't know how much that is in, I always do pounds because in my head I'm American. So how many pounds in a kilo? Because I know I must be about some.
There's definitely some.
I think I'm about 67 kilograms, 68 kilograms, something like that.
I'm 62.
Oh, you're tiny.
62 kilograms. Well, I'm only 5'3".
That's yeah. I'm
quite
lanky.
beastly.
I'm trying to. This is a silly conversation for me to have because I'm just like, how to get more calories? Well, you see, that's the thing.
But there will be people who are in that position as well.
So I'm doing things like I am using butter a lot. I am adding extra oil when I fry anything or do stir fries just to up the calories. And if you aren't counting, if you're trying to go the other way and you aren't counting oils in your calorie count,
100 calories in 1 teaspoon.
Exactly. And so, you know, it's very important that you just go, oh, I only had a little bit of mayo or a little bit of butter. Count it.
Yeah.
Because that's where it all is.
Yeah, because fat calories, you're looking at 7 calories.
For a gram of fat.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take this moment to step in like a man and correct Kelly on this. She was thinking about alcohol. She always thinks about alcohol. 7 calories is what alcohol has per gram, or milliliter one assumes, whereas fat has 9 calories per gram, which makes it even more calorific. I should also take this opportunity to point out to you what macros and micronutrients are. Basically, your food is made up out of stuff. Now the little bits, your vitamins and your minerals like your vitamin C and your iron and zinc and things like that, those are your micronutrients, and it's very important that you get the right micronutrients every day. The rest of it is what it is. It's either made up, and usually it's made up of bits of everything, of fat, of carbohydrate or carbs, and that includes sugar and stuff, and protein. That's all that food's made out of. Anyway, I've been talking for far too long. Back to the action. And I can't even remember what she was talking about now. Oh well.
And for the same in carbs or proteins, it's 4 calories. So that's where you
nearly
kind of
double.
Yeah.
So it's a really, you know, it's one of these things that as well you don't want to get too obsessed with it because you don't want to be thinking about food the entire time. Well, do you?
I'm always thinking about food while I'm eating my food. I'm thinking about the next food.
Yum yum yum.
Yeah, I love
yum.
food.
Yeah, no, food is good.
I think making sure that you're getting your protein in as well, because most people for breakfast, well, actually most people's diets are massively carb based, and when you tell them if you're working out, like the average person needs about 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Once you start working out, that can be anything from 0.8 up to 1 gram, or if you're really trying to pack the muscle on, it could be anything up to 2 grams for like bodybuilders, that sort of thing. And most people for breakfast will have cereal, milk. Good. There's not much protein there.
Tiny bit in the milk.
Yeah, tiny bit. But when you're trying to balance out your foods and keep yourself from being hungry, it's kind of fats and proteins that are gonna keep your hunger levels down. So you need to kind of balance your breakfast out and looking at your meals and thinking, right, have I got carbs in this? Have I got fats in this? Fats are not bad. Fats are good.
Fats are good. They keep you full.
Exactly.
Peanut butter is really...
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm allergic to peanuts.
Oh no! But what I've been doing recently, because basically what I used to do, and you can see this on my Instagram in the olden days, is I used to have a big bowl of porridge, which I added to egg whites, so I got extra protein in, and also makes it fluffy.
It is tasty.
And I have a bit of whey protein in there as well, just to really get me going. The trouble was, it was mainly carbs still, because it was a lot of oats. And what happened was, at about 2 or 3 p.m, because I'd eaten that, I had a massive insulin crash. So I would just be knackered.
Well, why haven't you had your dinner by then? If it's like 2
Well, no,
p.m.
I usually, because I'm like, I've got weird, so I eat breakfast sort of between 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And then, because this is weird, and then I have my lunch at about 3 normally.
Okay.
So 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then I have my dinner when I get home, which is usually about, it's either going to be midnight right before I go to sleep, which
Right.
is when I love my carbs.
Well, yeah,
Or-
they do help you sleep.
Yeah, or it'll be about 9 o'clock, because that is basically because I'm usually working nights, because I'm a whore. No,
Wow,
because I'm a comedian. So that tends to be what happens is in the evening, and that means I eat after jitsu as well, because jitsu tends to be in the evening as well.
So if you were a client coming to me with that, I would tell you to add 2 snacks in.
I do. I have snacks.
Well,
I
that's
have.
all right then.
I have mini baby bells.
Okay, so your fats.
Yeah.
A little bit of protein.
Lots of fats. Occasionally I'll have a protein bar. It's
Yeah.
quite nice.
I mean, oats are one of the best kind of carbs. If I need to carb up on a night, my go-to is sandwich thins, the brown ones,
Oh yeah.
honey and a banana in it. Banana honey
Banana
sandwich
is
is
so
just the
good.
best.
Do you know
and it's sweet, so it works.
My favourite go-to treat as well is just get a banana, chop it up, put it in the freezer, eat that.
Oh yeah, you can whip it up into nice cream.
You can do, or you can just have it as chunks.
Yeah?
It's really nice as chunks, and it's really easy because you just go hum. That once you've had that, and then you're like, or I could have an Oreo, and you're just like, having banana, it's cold, it's nice, and it's hum.
Yeah, they are good.
Yeah.
Same with frozen grapes, they're good.
Yeah, breeds are right. They're not as good. Apparently, frozen apple is good, but I have not tried.
Apples are hard enough. I can't imagine freezing it.
Yeah, but apparently this is a thing.
Well, don't knock it till you try it.
Yeah, frozen fruit is the way.
Yeah,
forward.
and the one of the other things is I would definitely just say have a good think when you're hungry. I know it takes time as well. There's all this hashtags about conscious eating and things. So try not to just sit in front of the telly and banging away like a massive bowl of pasta and then thinking, oh, I didn't really think about what I was eating. And then
Enjoy the food.
yeah, you'll just eat way more that way as well. Especially if you like popcorn, snacks, all that sort of thing, and you're just shoving it in your face because you're eating the entire time the programme's on, and you might not have been hungry that whole time.
That's true. Because doesn't it take time for your gremlin and leptin to catch
apparently
up?
it's about 15 minutes, but I don't know exactly if that's there's loads of different conflicting information, but about that 15-20 minutes for your full signals to get to your brain to go, hold on,
We're done.
we're all right. But that's the thing, you can eat past that, and that's why we don't really have that hunger versus just eating for the sake of it. Yeah, because we're not really listening to those hormones. Your body's quite delicate in that respect.
So it's about... So basically, work out how many calories you need using a calorie calculator.
Yeah, but then tailor it to yourself by keeping an eye on it.
Keep an eye on how that's going for you. If you're thinking, well, I'm eating this much and I'm losing no weight at all, either check that you're definitely eating what you think you're eating.
And don't lie to your fitness pal. I have done
that. Just go, do you know what I've done occasionally is I've got in and I haven't eaten my dinner and it's gone midnight and I've just gone...
Next day. Yeah, exactly.
And then the next day I'm like, I've done so well today. I have eaten 3,000 calories. And no, I haven't. I had dinner. I had 4 meals. But that's the opposite way to most people.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Don't ban foods. Definitely don't do that. And don't have cheat meals. I know this is my opinion. And there are a lot of people saying there's loads of different diets, 5-2 and... intermittent fasting, all that sort of business. Basically, a diet is calories in, calories out. It doesn't matter how you do it. If you do ketosis, you tend to reduce your calorie intake because you won't eat as much in carbs. So it's still calories in, calories out.
It's almost impossible. I don't know how they do that because I've been going slightly low calorie, so I've been trying to keep my carbs under 30%, which is still a healthy amount of carbs. I mean, that's for me, it's over 100 grams. It's quite a lot. But what they do is they go right down to 15%.
Yeah.
And that is nothing. That is
tough.
I don't know how they eat anything.
You have to get your body into like a state
Yeah.
of ketosis as well, which takes like a few days, and then you can buy these sticks that you wee on to check that you are in ketosis.
I think they're not as good apparently as the blood test ones
Yeah.
that you prick your finger for, because apparently your wee is never a good sign of anything other than pregnancy.
Other than if you've just been in the toilet.
Yeah.
It's a good sign of that. But yeah, I mean, it is calories in, calories out. Some people, you fine tune it with your macros. You might find that you are better with carbs or you're better with fats. That will cover in kind of the circular sort of training and the way that we eat.
I'm so surprised lowering my carbs and upping my fats, how little I want to snack.
Yeah.
Because I did it as a way of going, I can't eat this much food.
Because you'll be eating more fats.
Yeah.
So you'll be satiated.
But it's, I'm not wanting the snack in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Whereas before I'd eat a lot, but not very calorifically dense food, and just be like, I could have some toast and jam.
Yeah. But that's the thing, if people do their cheat meals, they'll save themselves all week for this cheat meal, and then easily eat over the amount of calories that they would have just eaten during the week anyway in that cheat meal, because they've just gone, well, I can eat whatever I want. And you're like, well, it's kind of added up for the whole week. So if you go over your calories on one day, if you go under your calories the next day, it'll even itself out.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you get to the end of the week and you just smash 3,000 calories in a day, that's going to add to your total allowance for that week.
Is it also bad if you, say you go on a really big cut, so you think, I would need to lose loads of weight, and isn't that also dangerous because you'll also lose muscle mass doing that?
Yeah, your muscles will pretty much be the first to go.
Really?
Yeah, because your body just goes, well, we'll store the fat because we can use that as energy, and that's really important. So it'll just start eating away at your muscle, which is quite difficult when you see kind of bodybuilders and that sort of thing. Everyone concedes to the fact that they're going to lose strength and lose muscle. You get much weaker the closer to
competition.
That's the one. The closer to competition you get, the weaker you get. So you might have been starting out lifting like 10s, 12s, and then you might only be able to just about do 4s and 6s because you get so weak because you've not got any energy because you're on stupidly low calories. Your muscles started eating away at itself as a foot to get energy. So it's just catabolizes it.
I don't think I could do a bikini competition. I think I'd go mad.
I think I'd like to, just to like push myself and see if I could. I'm sure I could.
Just for the, I'm sure you could.
Just for the lols of seeing me in that sort of tan.
That is true, that isn't
Yeah.
They presumably they wear that so under the stage lights you can see all the muscles.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides about being pale. If I flex, I don't look as muscly as if I've got like a tight top on.
You just need to cover your entire body in tattoos.
Yeah, well, no, not even that. It's just it brings out the shade in the muscles. So as soon as you get a tan, you look much more ripped than you do if you're pale. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And also, first thing in the morning, standing with the sideways lights.
Yeah.
Looks great. And then last thing at night, with the lights right above you, you look pregnant pretty much all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Or if you've just eaten.
Yeah. If you've got
that is what your stomach is designed to do. It's
exactly.
a balloon. It balloons outwards when you've got food in it. That is totally normal.
Yes.
Totally
There's no such
normal.
thing as a flat stomach all day.
No.
Unless you're not eating.
Exactly.
In which case, you've got a flat stomach, but you hate everybody.
Yeah, and you're on yourself included.
So I think we've covered quite a lot in terms of what you can do to. I mean, what diets have you tried? In terms
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite open to it, admitting that I had an eating disorder for about 15 years.
Oh gosh.
And I used to survive on. It was called EDNOS because it was eating disorder not otherwise specified, which meant that I didn't fit the category of bulimia because I didn't eat enough calories to class as a binge. I didn't hit anorexia because sometimes I did binge.
Wow.
So I tried the horrible slimming tablets, like the really bad ones.
Are those the ones that give you liquid poo?
Yeah, but back then they were slightly more legal ones that aren't legal now. Which were kind of almost a speed-based one, so you'd have the shakes and just not great for you at all. So I basically had most days I had an apple and a Diet Coke for the whole day. And then I'd go and do loads of cardio, which is why I'm so passionate about eating and food and health now. So I pretty much have tried every single diet, and that's how I know the calorie content of a food just by looking at it.
Yeah.
It's because of all of them years of being so strict with my calories.
I've never had. I think I'm slightly dysmorphic in the sense that I've always thought, even when I was much bigger, I was quite thin. So because I was nearly 200 pounds at one point, because I had a sedentary job, wasn't exercising, and And in my head, I look exactly the same now. And
I think
it's
all
so...
women have got a touch of body dysmorphia, to be honest.
It's really bizarre, because occasionally I'll see pictures of myself and just go, oh, I look skeletal there, or oh, I look, and so it's very difficult for me to. So about that point, I worked out calories in foods and things, so I know roughly I can eyeball things, but I wasn't actually calorie counting. It wasn't until this year that I lost a lot of weight by accident that I thought, I'm eating so much, and then went, oh, I'm eating 1,700 calories a day.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this amount of exercise. That is why I lost a stone very quickly, not in a healthy way. Don't do that at home, folks.
Yeah.
So
I definitely wouldn't recommend an eating disorder either.
No, it's and if you've got one, for goodness sake, talk about it.
Yeah,
Really,
I mean, I'm super open about talking about it, because it's something that you will always struggle with, especially over like Christmas, New Year, when people are like pushing food on you, and there's nothing wrong with not finishing everything on your plate.
That's
like,
true.
Don't feel bad about that. And that was one of the biggest kind of turning stones, because I went down to about 7 stone.
Ooh.
And then I got admitted to an out clinic. And then I kind of figured out that I could lie to them and keep myself at 8 stone 2, which I did for a good few years, exactly at that weight, by manipulating my diet. And old me would have been devastated to weigh like over 9 stone like I do now.
But you look amazing now.
My waist is pretty much the same size as it was then. So it's kind of... It's a very warped way of seeing it, and you can get past it and you can get help for it, but you have to want it, because I didn't want help then, so I lied to them, I ignored it all.
Yeah. And
it wasn't until I just suddenly snapped. Like, if my eyeballs had started bleeding, that would have worried me, but because all the damage is internal, mostly, you can't see it to think this isn't really that good. It's not till you get older and you have to have all your teeth filled and all that sort of thing that you start thinking, oh, that was bad. But obviously if it was outward to start with, then it would have probably made you think a little bit more.
Yeah, if you went purple or something, that'd... I mean,
it's like that advert where they like bleed from their eyes and go, don't ignore bleeding gums.
Cool. Well, I think we've touched on things there. If you want any, more information about this, then you should listen. You should listen to us, and also you should write in and get in touch with us.
Have you got a question for us? Get in touch on Facebook. Find us on Instagram using the hashtag WOMFITPod. That is WOMFITPOD. And on Twitter at WOMFITPod. Or go to the website womensfitnesspodcast.com.
Yay. So, I think we've got time for another question, if you want to answer another question.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that we touched on in the last episodes, but it bothers me as well, which is, why are press-ups so difficult? Because, this is from Helen, and she says, if I compare myself to blokes with a roughly similar level of fitness that do similar types of exercise, she always seems to be rubbish in comparison, and this makes her feel bad. And why is that?
Well, I would say that you are a beautiful woman. You should not compare yourself to anyone, first off.
But what, she's comparing herself to big, ugly men, though, so...
Yeah, exactly. Well, I read this really random theory about women's have a lower centre of mass. I'm not quite sure about that,
is that calling us fat-assed?
Well, that would be... I'd kind of explain why sit-ups were easier for women to do and press-ups are easier for guys. But it's basically all to do with muscle distribution. So we are about 40%, if you take a natural woman, about 40% less upper muscle than men have of a similar sort of stature. But leg-wise, we're about 80-90% as strong as guys in the legs. So our upper body, like pecs, triceps, that sort of area, are just less developed generally. We can work on it, and you can specifically build that area, but straight off the bat, we are weaker up top than men are, to be honest. It's the same with pull-ups as well, because you're trying to haul that lower part of you up with much smaller muscles. So you can see guys like banging out loads of pull-ups as well, and it's
ones
much
that
harder
shape
to
like dairy leaves.
Yeah, the good old triangle.
Yes.
That one. I would definitely, though, say stick at your press-ups, because they have loads of benefits for women, one of which is giving you perkier boobicles.
Perkier boobicles?
Yeah.
Excellent. I always want perkier boobicles.
Everyone wants perkier boobicles.
Why do you get perkier boobicles from doing press-ups?
Because you're working your pecs. So it's the same with bench press as well. So a lot of people, you hardly see that many women, well, in my experience, in the gym doing bench press. But once I get my clients doing them, they get addicted to them because they're really chuffed about going up the weights, and doing a big lift is it's really good for you mentally. It makes you feel really good and strong. And it lifts your chest muscles up. So your boobs are on top of those muscles, so they tend to shift up a little bit.
Everything.
I'm touching them.
I'm just enjoying the show.
Yeah, I'm just gesticulating massively.
Just going, So we are naturally, we just don't have as the developed muscles, presumably because we don't get the testosterone as teenagers.
Yeah.
So I find it really interesting.
We just stopped at teenage boy level.
Exactly. Well, no, we don't even stop at teenage. We stop pre-teenage boy.
Yeah.
So we stop at tweenage boy.
Tweenage.
Yeah.
Tweens.
Yeah. Woo woo. Screech from Saved by the Bell. That's where we stop.
That's going back. Nostalgia.
Right, well, we've already admitted to being in our 30s, so it's fine. So, yeah, it's because I find it very frustrating. I always find it really difficult if because I've got really long limbs, so my pivot points.
Exactly.
So everything, it hurts my elbows and it hurts my wrists as well. But you got us doing. So there are different types of press ups, is what I'm saying. And I, for ages, couldn't do any, so I did on my knees.
I wouldn't.
But I did it on my knees in a specific way, because a lot of people do on your knees with your bum in the air. I kept really planked.
Yeah.
So my quads were in line with my chest and everything else.
That's better.
So I was getting some weight on my arms just to build it up slowly.
Yeah.
But I did that 22 push-ups last year. So it's 22 push-ups, 22 days, and the entire time, which was filmed and put on Facebook, and I think that's public, so anybody can have a look at that, because it was raising awareness about
push-ups.
How crap push-ups I have. No, it was for military and mental health and stuff. But what was fascinating about that is just how difficult I found it, and I was basically just doing scapular push-ups without my elbows bending at all, and I'm now getting to the point where I can sort of bang out 10 and I nearly die.
Yeah.
But what would be, because talk about different types of push-ups, best way to strengthen for them, and why, other than boobicles, why they is good.
Well, interestingly enough, they said about the military, because I know that in some militaries it is actually part of the test that you can do either pull-ups or press-ups. I think they're looking at, in America, possibly changing that a little bit, but you can train to be able to do them. I can do press-ups, wide stance. Wide stance?
So with your hands really far apart?
Quite far apart, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can also do them tricep, which is a closed grip one, so that'll hit you pretty hard in the tricep.
So that's where you have your hands basically
kind of right under you.
Yeah.
But if you do that to failure and then you fall, you will get trapped with your own hands under you and you will face plant, because I've done this.
I think with you in particular, because you're very well endowed, that's going to be even funnier.
It was hilarious. I just smashed into the floor and just got trapped under myself. That's just not the best. Definitely wouldn't recommend doing them for failure.
That's an amazing
Yeah,
image.
it's pretty hilarious. But the reason that I said about on your knees press-ups, I have a little bit of contention about them, because they're called girl press-ups, which kind of implies that we can't do normal press-ups anyway. But if you're on your knees, you're not really getting that feeling of how a press-up feels. So, and you can't, we work a lot in personal training with progression and regression, so you can't really regress an exercise from push-ups on the knees that well if someone can't do them, and progressing from push-ups on the knees would just be straight push-ups. So it's better to try and get yourself doing different types, so use a bench. So have your hands on the bench, put yourself in a press-up position, you're elevated, so you haven't got as far to go, and it's easier. But you still get that feeling of having your body pressing down, but with your legs straight. Because you can hurt your knees if you do it on your knees as well, if you've got particularly bony knees or bad knees anyway. And one of the worst things that women do is hunch their shoulders up, and then they'll try and squeeze their shoulders together as they do them. It's not a press-up.
I do that.
You will hurt your shoulders. So it's shoulders down and back. Well, it's shoulders down, and instead of pushing them together at the back, you want to separate them. So you're kind of rolling your shoulders inwards.
Stick them to your back, rather than having your scapula come up.
Yeah, it's rather than squeezing kind of a lot of exercises. If you're doing like a row, you want to be able to hold a pencil in between your shoulder blades, basically. It's the opposite of that with a press-up. So shoulders down, out to the sides. I'm basically, you can't see this, but I am mimicking a
Yeah,
press-up
no, she
right
is. It's rather amusing.
now.
She hasn't got them on the floor yet.
Yeah.
So.
And then do them on a bench. And you will find that proper press-ups are hard. They're harder than the pretend ones that you've been doing with your shoulders up, because that you will hurt your shoulders if you keep doing it like that. So down and back, you're getting a lot more through your chest. You're getting through your triceps, biceps. They're just really good for... You're not going to lose a massive amount of calories doing them. I think you might maybe get like 45 calories if you bang out maybe 10,
Bloody
20, something like that.
I
But it's not a weight loss
you'll
tool.
feel like you'll die.
I like them, actually. They make me feel quite strong.
You love to go to Chaturanga. One thing I wanted to sort of add to this, when she says put your shoulders down and back, Kelly has a really good way of getting you to do this, which is to literally stand up straight. So if you're stood up right now, just stand up straight and turn your palms out, so that your arms are just down by your side, and you're turning your palms as if to go, look at the kittens in my hands. I don't know what else would be in your hands, or look at my
lovely palm.
I have been look at my calluses I've got on mine from weights and that sort of thing. But look at my hands, a bit like Jesus would.
Yeah,
and that will actually do a
What would Jesus do?
Not the crucifix bit, the bit where he's like blessing people. But open up your hands, and actually your shoulders will go back. And when everybody said put your shoulders back, I was like, I think I'm doing that. But that really sunk in. It's just like, turn your palms around.
It's called supinated. When you're doing, you can do certain exercises with a supinated grip, and I always think about it like you're carrying soup in your hands.
Cool soup.
So that is your supinated one. And the other thing that really annoys me with women's press-ups is they'll just do floor humping, and I'm like,
that's
what are you doing? Your pelvis is going down. You're humping the floor. Nothing else is moving.
Because it's difficult to bend your elbows.
It is.
Yeah.
So do negatives.
Ah.
So just do the lowering part. Lower yourself down as slowly as you can. Get on the floor. Get yourself back up on your knees. Start again.
I remember doing those, and just really, really, that was the moment I realised I need to hoover more often.
Yeah, there is that. You definitely get an all new view of your floor.
So do not be scared of push-ups.
Yeah, definitely don't. Oh, pull-ups. Like pull-ups make you feel kick-ass. They do make you feel awesome. And you can use, if you use the lateral pull down, which is that machine at the gym with the big long bar on that you basically just pull down to your chest. But only using your arms, not like you see people doing where they raise their whole body up off it and kind of swing from it in a weird way. Just pull that down. The more you can do on that, the stronger that you're going to get through your back. And using that, what I said about doing that in reverse, doing the negatives of that as well. So climb up. Lower yourself down really slowly.
Okay.
So that works as well. And using resistance bands, the really long ones.
Oh, I did that. I thought I was going to twang myself into the ceiling.
Yeah.
That was quite scary.
Try not to get someone helping you, because you might either kick them in the face or they'll get like the biggest elastic band slap in the world. That'd just be bad.
So, those are your tips. So, for press-ups, do them against a bench. Try and keep your shoulders down and back. Be like Jesus. Or supinated, carrying soups. And if you're going to do pull-ups, then hang there, lower yourself down. Same with press-ups, lowering yourself down.
Close grip's easier as well on pull-ups than the big lateral wide one.
Yeah, so I'm trying to do those, but it gets your lower traps as well. It just hurts, but it's amazing. It doesn't hurt. That's the weird thing about doing those. So I do it on the machine with the
assisted.
Yes, the assisted ones. So nice big wide grip, 'cause there's just no way. So I do that on the assisted machine, and it literally doesn't hurt. It's just that everything is shaking.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things as well. You can't think about doing a pull-up and it just being your arms or your back. Your whole body is involved. Tighten everything.
Bum.
Yeah, clench your bum. Same with press-ups.
Yeah.
Clench your glutes.
Yeah, glutes are really important.
Yeah, clench everything.
And your quads. Don't let your if you got long legs like me, don't let them bend. It just looks rubbish, particularly when you're planking. Is planking good? Is that going to help strengthen everything?
Yeah, it can do. I think that people kind of overrate them a little bit, because then they'll get really good at doing a plank for like 2 minutes and then do nothing else and go, well, I can do a plank. You're like, yeah, but what about everything else?
So I need to. I could just be a bench.
Exactly. People think about their core and they think, yeah, that's my abs, but it's actually a corset muscle. So it's running all the way around you. So your back all the way around to the front. That's your core. your abs are your abs. There's two different things. So when you're doing core exercises, it should be working the whole corset muscle. If you're doing abs, focus on doing your isolation moves, so like crunches, cable crunches, leg raises, that sort of thing. And that's the thing with deciding what sort of body you want to sculpt as well, because if you do a lot of oblique work, so if you're doing loads of Russian twists, side plank, you're going to get your obliques a bit developed, and that will make you a little bit thicker in the waist. So you see loads of women doing, one of their complaints is that muscles made them, like working out's made them get bigger in the waist. It's because they're banging out loads of like oblique exercises.
I know, but I quite like that look.
Yeah, no, some people do, and that's the thing. If you want to do that, work your obliques out.
It's a lot of CrossFit women that you see have that very sort of
straight
like
up and down.
Exactly, which I know isn't the most glamorous. But
Some people love that. Like, do what you want to do.
I think it's as well because I'm quite high waisted anyway. It just makes like. And also, clothes don't fit me in the waist anyway, right?
Clothes never fit anyone properly.
Exactly. So it's just like, well, if I don't particularly have a waist, but I'm just lean, then I can put my waist wherever I like.
Well, that's a good point.
But you're beautifully hourglass. I mean, you're like perfectly.
I had to work at it. I had like a massively flat butt. I had no bum at all to speak of, so I wanted one, so I grew one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wanted
and
it.
to grow it.
Grew it.
Eat.
Oh yeah, you have to eat, yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, I love it when people go, oh, well, that's not a normal figure. And you're like, I would like to meet these people who are locked in a room where people go in and survey them every now and then goes, this is what normal looks like.
Yeah.
There's just not one person in there that everyone is based off going, normal. You are normal.
I wouldn't like to be that person.
No, exactly.
I want to be extraordinary. I want to be the best. So, yes, please do send us your questions. At the end, have you got anything else to add about either dieting or things? So I think we're...
Not the minute, because we can kind of go into more specifics, because that was quite broad.
It was very broad. So if you want, you can ask very specific questions. You can say, on Tuesday this happens to me. I want your specific advice of my routine or something like that. We can go into it. But other than that, I think we're done.
Yeah,
Episode 2.
Out.
I know. Please do spread the word as much as you can. And are we going to try and high five again?
Yeah, go on.
In a cool way.
You can hear it. Go on.
Okay.
Well, that's your fist.
Okay.
Yes.
There we go. It is done.
Thanks for listening, but before you go, please spread the word about the podcast. Write us a review on iTunes, and we want your feedback. Go to womensfitnesspodcast.com or email womensfitnesspodcast@gmail.com. You can support us financially on Patreon, and also you can follow us. You can find Kelly Bakewell PT on Facebook and Instagram as @KellyBakewellPT, and you can find Izzi, that's me, on Instagram and Twitter as @Izzi_Lawrence. That is ISZI_LAWRENCE. Music by Boothby Grapho, available on bandcamp.com. We'll see you next week. High five on the internet.